It's Sunday night, 9 o'clock. Welcome to All Lacrosse Live. I'm Gary Groob in Toronto, and with me, as always, I have Shawn Slaght over in Moose Jaw. How are you, Shawn?
Doing pretty good, thanks, Gary.
Excellent. And I have Muffler Mike Kostiuk over in Connecticut. Mike, how's it going?
I'm doing great.
Excellent. Excellent. We got a great show for you guys. We have ALL and NLL to discuss. We have preseason games, so we're getting even closer than we were before. Isn't that great? We have some interesting releases. We have some strange retirements and other things to discuss. But just before we get rolling, as always, just a reminder that all of our shows are streamed live across Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and also Twitch. And remember to please subscribe, follow, and like, and share with your friends, family, coworkers, people down the street, some guy you just met, guy you don't know, anybody. If you missed a show, no worries. You can grab all the podcasts on all of our all the YouTube pages of Streampunk Entertainment, as well as on our All Across All the Time YouTube page, in which you can also find retro games, interviews, library of shows, also fights and some other things in there. I had another retro game go up the other day, which was Rochester and New York Saints from 1996, the opening of the season there. Pretty cool stuff. So give that a look. There's about 30 or 40 games up there now, all kinds from Mill, from Eagle, and from early NLL. So give it a look. There's a lot of interesting stuff. There's some great games. And a lot of the guys that you're seeing behind the bench or as the GMs in their heyday. You know, it's great watching Bob Hamley, Derek Keenan passing to one another on Buffalo. Understand why they went 22-0 before they got a loss in there, right? Throw in the Kilgore brothers and a few other guys in there, Kevin Alexander, and my God, you know, we would have almost close to the Six Nation Chiefs of the summer.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Of all-star teams. Anyways, I've neglected to do this the last few weeks, but I love this little clip, so let's get the ball rolling. I love that. We all need to have fun. Now, we talked about lacrossing barriers, and of course, they are headed all over Canada now. They are in Halifax. They are in Ontario. We've talked about them being in Calgary. We've talked about them being in Moose Jaw. They're in Victoria now. Please go to their Instagram page and click on their link in their bio. They are still up for an absolutely earth game-changing grant. Voting is still going for another week or so. So please go over there. Please give them your support. It is certainly worthwhile. Remember, all-inclusive and being able to give people a chance who normally aren't given that opportunity. And that alone is worthwhile right away. And they're doing tremendous things all through Canada and looking to get into the U.S. as well and help and work with other companies as well. So please have a look at that and please put your support there. We've been putting up clips daily since it is Native American History Month over in the U.S. And I thought today, just to show you what we're doing, that I would show a little clip, small clip, couple of minutes that are up there. And this one is from USA Lacrosse about the spirit of the stick. So why don't we view this clip and just see the daily that they are clips that are bridging the gap of understanding of native and non-native. And of course, the best way to heal relations and grow relations is an understanding of each other. And the best way that I know how to do it, of course, is through lacrosse and, of course, the creator's game. And this is a small little clip. Let's give it a look.
In our culture, it's said that lacrosse is given to our people by the Creator. The Creator wants us to play lacrosse. The Creator watches lacrosse games. The stick that comes from nature is part of this. We thank the Creator for the sun, the rain, the soil, and everything that grows a hickory tree. We thank the Creator for hickory trees that we make the lacrosse stick out of. It's natural. It's part of nature. It's like who we are.
And the first game that we play in the spring is for the game itself. And for all the people who pick up that stick, to protect them, to help them. And so then they throw the ball in the air and the game is on.
So this game, which is, you call it a game, but it's a lot more than a game. It's not just a game with religious ceremony associated with it. It kind of puts it on a whole different level.
It's really not a sport for us. The competition is fierce and so forth, but it's, you couldn't call it a sport. It's much more than that. And you got to play with a wooden stick. There'll be no Tupperware. There's nothing spiritual about plastic or so forth, but this, yeah. And then the people are reminded that this wood, which is usually hickory, represents all the trees. And then the gut, that's all the animals. So inherent in the stick itself is the rest of the world. It's right in your hands. So everybody's involved here. It really doesn't matter who wins, because it's the energy that you're playing for this person, or for the game, or for whatever it is. That's the winner.
To make that stick from nature, that's a living piece of wood that you make that out of. And the energy of that living tree transfers to the player who knows how to use that stick. And that energy is there. You can feel it when you pick up the stick. It's a matter to me of like respect and honor for the wooden stick and for the game. It's not all lost. It's not all gone. There's all these men there with wooden sticks playing the game like it used to be with the wood, and it's honor. And we can't do this game without wooden sticks.
Awesome. And who better to explain it than Alfie Jacks and Chief Warren Lyons? To me, that's the piece to resistance of it all. Tomorrow's clip is going to be about the roots of lacrosse by International Wood Culture Society. So please give it a look. It should be up early morning tomorrow. Every day it'll be up there before noon. It'll be up on our pages, as well as all the other lacrosse pages for the rest of the month. So great way to learn something about the game, and a great way to learn something about Indigenous culture and how it all interrelates. All right, let's move a little forward. The Arena Lacrosse League, we haven't talked about them in a little bit. They've started rolling. The ALL West has had a couple of games already. They played midweek this week, where the Grizzlies beat the Blackfish 14-10, and the Eagles beat the Sea Spray 12-9. They are going back to Sunday games again, starting this coming weekend over at the Langley Event Center. And you have the Grizzlies versus the Eagles and the Sea Spray versus the Blackfish next Sunday. Grey Cup Sunday, man.
And to note, Gary, goaltender for the Grizzlies, Christian Del Bianco. So we know
Yes,
where he's
and
playing
that's
this
something,
year.
eh? You want to see NLL style play for not a lot of money, about $10. There's your
One of the
opportunity.
best in the business.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Yeah, and he'll be playing most likely all season with the Grizzlies. And the ALL East had their draft yesterday. They're getting ready to start the first weekend of December. I believe December 7th. The 6th is their first game in Brampton on the Friday night. And then off they go to the races after that. They had a number of big names that went early rounds. A few that come to mind here is Caleb Commandant, who went to Brampton early on. Caleb Creaser went to Oshawa, and we'll get talked about that in a little bit. A few interesting things there, including Josh Suida, who went to Whitby. Rich get richer. But again, all these are, whether they make the NLL squads or not, and whether they're going to wind up on here. Jake Morris is going to be playing, a friend of the shows. He should be on here also next couple of weeks or so. We're going to go talk with him about his career and upcoming stuff for him. But he's going to be playing ALL again for, I believe, his 4th season. So moving forward, because he had a stint with the Thunder, Langley, in the summertime. So keeps moving up the ladder. So, and he's doing an awful lot of coaching and things like that. In fact, he was going to be on tonight's show, but he's coaching. So let him do his thing. But lots of stuff coming up for the ALL. ALL Women West is started already. They had a couple of games today. We haven't gotten any scores yet. They have a couple of games tomorrow as well. Odd on a Monday, but it is what it is. ALL Women's East will be getting rolling soon as well. So we will keep you up to date as we get things moving there. Pretty cool because, again, we've talked about it many times, guys, how important the Arena Lacrosse League is to juniors, to guys who are on practice squads, to guys who didn't quite make the cut, and to be able to stay game shape ready. To be ready on a call because injuries happen. We know what happens almost weekly somewhere. And to have this, this league to keep them playing NLL rules with NLL coaching, with NLL competitors to keep them sharp and learn and keep going. But it doesn't stop there because it also teaches them to be professionals off the floor as well as on the floor, which is a definite plus between that and the prep schools, how to become a pro and stay a pro. They've always said it's one thing to fight your way up there. It's another thing altogether to stay there. And everything matters at that stage, especially the way the league is going now and really pushing to be the 4th big sport. So everything is micro and macro managed. So there are no mulligans in anything. So every little bit helps. Well, let's hope. U.S. Boxla is doing a lot, and if the world competition is anything to show just how good the program is becoming, the U.S. women winning gold should be a good example, beating a very strong Canadian team. While I'm on that subject, though, guys, just a shameless plug for my other show on Thursday. It's a big show if you're liking the women's game. I have Michelle Boyer, who, of course, is the head of Global Women's Box Lacrosse Network. And with her, I have Megan Keena and Dana Doby from Team Canada, Emily Howistruck and Aaron Bakes from Team USA. And the 5 of them will be on 4 o'clock on Spangler Sports World. You can catch it on my Facebook page. You can catch it on my YouTube page as well as on Zingo TV and all the main lacrosse pages. Should be a big show. Lots to talk about. Even looking at, asking about, the Women's Professional Hockey League. And do we have a chance to move in that direction? Because that took off like fire once it got rolling. So do you think that we can do that with the women's lacrosse game? It certainly is an exciting game. I didn't see a dull one in the Worlds. I saw some blowouts, but I didn't see dull games. And there was a lot of energy and a lot of camaraderie, really the way it should be. So it's going to be a big show. Yes, she was. So, yeah, well, we got to get it more than just in the state of New York. We got to try and get it all over the U.S., kind of like we have it in Canada, all over the place. So, but it's coming. It's coming. So, all right. The Ottawa Black Bears made an announcement this week. And, of course, that was that Jeff Teat is their new captain. We have a little clip on that.
There isn't anyone that's better to have that title. Getting the chance to work with Jeff, he's not just the best player in the world; he's one of the best teammates in the world.
Super positive guy on the bench. Never is one of those guys that gets his head too big and turns on his teammates.
Watching him since I've been here a couple of years now, just kind of develop as a person and off the field, wearing the C comes with a little bit of responsibility. I think he's more than ready for, but I think he's the perfect guy for it because, he's going to be here for a while. And he's a guy that, the team can just kind of look to show kind of how the game is supposed to be played properly and kind of lead just by example.
I felt like since I was a little kid kind of around this league, grew up always wanting to play, wanting to excel, wanting to win a championship. And then this is also something that comes along with it. And I think for me, a huge honor not only to wear this, but be a part of a special group, lead with a special group. And to be honest, not just me, be relying on a lot of guys too.
That looks natural, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I don't see any other choice, really. I just, that's me, but I don't, who else would wear the C? So, like father, like son, where Dan wore a C in the league as well as being captain of the Brampton team, of course, now being a GM and coach there. But the other thing, of course, is that Jeff did wear the C for the Brampton team, for the juniors, for the couple of years that they were doing the Minto Cup things. Sorry. But well-deserved, and a leader on and off the floor. And he's one of those guys that aren't the big yellers and screamers and things like that. He reminds me a lot of a Colton Watkinson in that idea. When they speak, to listen. Because he speaks for a reason.
Yeah.
So that's great news. Again, I love what Rich Lisk has done so far. I love what he's changed the dynamic of the team, addressed issues. He's put the right people as the leaders of that team. So I think Ottawa has an exciting year to look forward to upcoming. Now, they did have a game, preseason game against Georgia, but they kept it on the QT. Nobody knows any scores. They never put anything up. Neither Georgia nor Ottawa put up anything on Instagram or Twitter or anything. So let's hope Fast and Furious, right? Yeah. It's a good pick.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. A great pick. Been lucky enough to know Jeff and Dan for many, many years and watch Jeff grow into the mature player that he is now. But, Kilgore, when we had Darius on, he brought up that point of it's one thing just to be firing at certain things and firing at the net. He is so accurate that if you give him this much room, he'll find it. And throwing curveballs and being able to see the play before the play has happened. I bring back a story that I had with Troy Cordingley a number of years ago as we were watching him play junior at track. And Cordingley had mentioned that he reminded him of Gretzky because he could see everything in slow motion. He could envision what was going on. He could quarterback just about anything. And if you notice, he never gets hit flush because he's always able to kind of just slide out of the way enough that he doesn't ever makes full contact. So it was interesting hearing from Troy back then coming about that. And sure enough, you take a look now and the way that he operates through New York and now in Ottawa. And yeah, absolutely. That's a spot on analysis. But we had a number of preseason games yesterday all over the place. I'm going to start actually out in Vancouver. And of course, we've been just wowing about the Vancouver lineup. I had a chance to chat briefly with Brad McCulley, who's with the Warriors, and he's talking about how much fun training camp has been so far. And, they really have something that's brewing that's special there. And I agree 100% with him. And, Vancouver came out on top of Colorado, 16-9 over the Langley Event Center. So I realize it's preseason, but you always like to get your best foot forward. And that certainly puts all the work into perspective. Now, another one that we were talking about that we expected big things from them was Albany. And, they had a chance to play at the Iroquois Lacrosse Arena, and they played Halifax. And, 20-9.
Oh.
And this is practice squad guys and a few other guys and guys that probably won't make the team, and 20-9. Anybody have any more questions about Albany?
No.
But,
Yeah.
But again, it's preseason, right? Over in San Diego at their practice facility, the Desert Dogs visited them, and all that firepower in San Diego, and it was 11-10 victory for them over the up-and-coming Las Vegas Desert Dogs. I am interested in seeing how this team reacts this year because Sean Williams, again, gave it a huge facelift, addressing lots of different issues, and also making a bunch of us scratch our heads with some of the movement and some of the guys who weren't coming back. So let's see how that all plays out. Another one was in Toronto yesterday, and that was Calgary coming here. And they won 14-11. Interestingly enough, though, that Calgary were playing their A squad. Dobie, Dixon, they were all in the lineup. McLeod was in the lineup in net. And the Rock were playing a lot of the hopefuls, guys who have been on the draft list for 2 years or things like that, and giving a look. And both teams changed up in a lot of things at the half, which I don't see very often. Usually you're in for the whole game. But both teams made roster changes at halftime and sat guys and brought other guys out. Shows you how, Mike, this shows you again how many people are in camp to try and get a look at. Once again, you have so many bona fide NLLers that the only way to do it is almost playing half games. And that's basically what they're doing.
Yeah. For the fans out there listening, you definitely need to
appreciate that. Thank you very much for listening, and thank you for your patronage. We appreciate everything. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you got to figure, any team basically that even, no matter how many guys they bring in, they only pretty much have 4 weekends to do this evaluation and to
settle
come
lineup.
up with,
Make a lot of cuts,
make decision, hey, who's our 25 best guys?
Right.
So
I happen to have a clip courtesy of the Toronto Rock of that game, and it was on YouTube as well. So if you're interested, I believe all the Rock games on the next couple of Saturday nights are on YouTube as well. But let's give it a little look.
Ball back and forth with efficiency on offense. Here's a chance. Scores! Josh Dowick now. Feet inside. Shot scores! Marley Angus will tie things up at 1 for the Rock. Top defenders without a doubt for this Roughnecks club. C. King has it with an eye on the clock. McIntyre shot. A few fakes. And he scores. A little bit of a delayed signal there from the official, but Bushi for Craig. Swings it on there for Sinfield. The pass down to the crease. What a grab. What a goal. Unbelievable finish there by Josh Dowick. What a goal. But he's going to get his looks on offense, and he scores.
And there's evidence as to why he'll get his looks on offense.
Up by the Roughnecks. Quick pass up the floor. Here's a break shot, and Hollow Chuck steers that aside. Down for Bushi. Quick pass up top for Dan Craig. Shot from Angus. Scores! Marley Angus is money from there. His second of the night will tie things up at 4. Is the extra attacker for the Roughnecks. Pass. Quick stick on the crease. They score. Calgary finishes things off. The 6-on-5 play to take a 5-4 lead. Play 1 here in the second half left Dowick at the top. Power play 2 in the second half left Cameron at the top. Dowick's shot is blocked. Cameron's got it. He rips one top corner. And the rookie, Brian Cameron, will tie things up here for the Rock. Running the box game on the fly here, but he's been up in Oakville for the entire month of November. Here working out at the track pretty well every day. There's a chance and a goal. Chris Bushi fights his way towards the net. Dowick pass down low. Sinfield scores. The touch down low. And the Rock have themselves a 2-goal lead. 51 goals at the Junior B level. Got some Junior A action in with Six Nations. But here's a break for Jake Darlison, and he scores! The Rock's first round pick, 13th overall, cashes in transition. Shot, and they score very quickly. McIntyre able to finish there on the crease here in training camp. Hendricks almost picked that off. Here's a chance and a goal for Calgary as they take the lead. Hendricks will kick it out for Bushi. His low ramp will go post and in. Cameron creeping in, shoots and scores.
Oh, man.
Kearney, now he's got some room to go to the net, shoots and scores! Zach Kearney for the Rock. Drill down on the stats a little bit more. Oh, nice. An absolutely pretty finish there as Ethan Ticehurst inside, and the Roughnecks score again. This time it's Foster after the nice dish for McIntyre.
And there we are. Now, if there's a few takes from this is Marley Angus, I don't think he's going to be seeing the Arena Lacrosse League again. I think he's made a good point there. He was looking good last year, and if he stays healthy, it'd be a big plus to the Rock. There's a few of them on there. The big thing is Chris Bushi is in the best shape of his life now. He spent a lot of the offseason absolutely training like a madman, and he looked great yesterday. So, some beautiful goals, though, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Ticehurst had a great goal. McIntyre had a couple of beauties. Yeah, Dowick with the behind the backer, just gorgeous. So, very entertaining, and track was full last night. So,
Excellent.
Yep. Everybody is ready. Yes. You know, we got to go through the next few weeks, but everybody is ready. But how long is it for Schreiber? Probably the new year. Collarbone is collarbone, and I don't see him coming back before January. I'm hoping it's not as long as last year, where it was mid-February before he started getting games in, and it took him till mid-March before he was looking like Schreiber of old. This is a make it or break it year, I think, for the Rock, before we start seeing changes in youth going on there. But again, I don't put much with the score because, again, the Rock, who's the most, other than, Bushi, is Dawick the one with the most tenure on the squad yesterday? Interesting enough. So, anyways, that was Saturday's games. There was 2 games today. The first one was over in Brampton, and Philadelphia beat Calgary, who had a rough night, but they had a busy night last night. So 11-8 was the Wings with the victory, and Albany played again over in the ILA, and they faced Rochester this time, and Rochester came out on top, 14-10. Still, that's 30 goals in 2 games. That's a pretty good showing for a team that's just trying to get the chemistry right, so to speak.
Right.
So,
Oh yeah.
I see big things out of that team. We were just in joking, putting together our list of our playoff teams, and we were more or less on the same page through, I guess 5 out of 8. But me personally, barring anything crazy happening, I'm thinking a Vancouver Albany final is me, what I'm seeing and what I'm thinking. Who wins out of that? Who knows? I have a year to figure that one out. But the way I see it out of what I see in the lineups, Mike, what do you think?
That's I don't think it's out of the question. It seems maybe a little lofty.
He's a Matt Vince. Interesting.
Well, it's funny he brings that up because the 3 of us and Pat Bernard all picked 5, the same 5 teams in our pick to make the playoffs, and all of us picked Buffalo. And I was just thinking about it. It's almost whether Buffalo makes the playoffs. To me, it really hinges on one factor, and that is the health of Matt Vince.
Exactly.
So
True, yeah.
I mean,
we saw that last year.
Well, we kind of saw last year when he went down a little bit. They kind of went through a bit of a slump when
they did, and any summer ball put aside even any summer ball that he's played, he's been in the last 5 NLL finals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
2018 with Rochester, 2019 with Buffalo, and now 22, 23, 24 with Buffalo. So I mean, he has played as full a season as you can play for the last 5 full NLL seasons.
As well, he was part of the Peterborough's Man Cup 3-peat as well, 4-peat. But
yeah, and I mean, he's 41 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, now he's 41, and you can't. I mean, we've made the argument before with some of these guys playing year round. The Lyle Thompsons, the Dane Smiths, Josh Burns, where we even talked about the fact that maybe one of the reasons that Buffalo didn't win in 22 was that the guys were, a lot of the players were possibly, for lack of a better word, burnt out.
Right.
Because they had no breaks, even with the pandemic. They were playing PLL, and then when NLL came back, it was, back to full time.
Right.
And there was this question of, hey, are in an effort to try to be full time, are guys getting tired, getting worn out, getting injured? Could they use a little more rest? So I don't think we can. I don't think it's. I don't think it would be prudent to not take that same argument and apply it to Matt Vince here.
Yeah.
Again, the last 5 full seasons, he's played start to finish with very little time missed. Barring the barring the suspended 20 season and the canceled 21 season, where everyone got rest.
Yeah.
So to speak.
But I'll take a flip side to say it's also he got them to 5 finals, teams to 5 finals in a row.
Oh yeah. No, I definitely don't discount that. So, but it's hard not to look at any other factor for the Bandits.
Oh yeah.
That's more important to them trying to three-peat than Matt Vince's health. I mean, it doesn't matter how good their defense is. It doesn't matter how high-powered their offense is. If he has to miss time for whatever reason, it's not going to be the same Buffalo team.
Absolutely is not.
Yeah, so I was looking who's behind Vince. You got Konstantinopoulos and Orleman.
Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah.
Funny enough,
there's no real pushover.
And like you said, we saw how they did with Shanahan and Orleman. I mean, they did okay enough.
That's the thing. Like Orleman's,
they lost every game.
Like Orleman's. That's the thing. Orleman's a good goaltender. He's okay.
Say they lost every game with those two in.
But you can't
start
compare
winning
him
again.
to
Vince came back.
Yeah,
and it almost cost them the playoffs. If he was injured another week or two, they may not have made the cut and be number 8 or be number 6, whatever, because it came down to the last few weeks and them having a hot ending. And then, of course, Buffalo took off from there. But Matt Vince has a chance to really make history, being on 2 different teams and three-peating.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's not incentive. That's insane is what that is.
Yeah, it's insane.
Just the thought of it. That has never been done until he did it with Rochester. And now he has an opportunity to do it a second time with Buffalo.
Is there any doubt he's going to go down as one of the greatest?
Yeah.
I believe he's going to go down as the greatest.
Yeah.
I really don't think there's much of an argument now. Yeah. You can throw Whipper Watson in there. You can throw Eliak in there. And I would say that Eliak would be the closest, because he was in there for a number of championships over the years, and a whole different style with a lot less equipment.
Yep.
And how many times we see Elliott making open field hits on guys. I love talking with him about that and about the game and about that type, that era. And it was just amazing. But I'm curious, a number of the guys here, if they would have been able to survive that era. They're bigger and stronger, faster, but are they as tough? It's comparing apples to bowling balls. But it's a good point that as Matt Vince goes, and it is well, thank you, appreciate that. Yeah, St. Catharines has put out so many players, and it's continued to. A couple of names that come to mind, of course, is Tyson Bell. Trelly Harris on Toronto. It was good to see him in that clip, also good and healthy and playing well.
Yeah.
So it's St. Catharines has put out some amazing box players and field players over the years. Through the athletics system and also through Brock University. So fantastic stuff. Now we had some transactions that went along. A few interesting ones, a couple of head scratchers. The one that got me was that Calgary already released Eric Turner, Eric George, Derek Lloyd from the active roster. But Eric Turner, man, that guy deserves an NLL spot somewhere. He works so hard. If you ever had a chance to look at his Instagram and see the workouts that he does, and he leads by example because he coaches in a number of spots as well. And this one was going to be perfect because he's from Edmonton, and Calgary isn't that far away. But man, I had him on the other show a few weeks back, and he was all ready and ramped. So for him to be released before the first game kind of had me scratching my head.
Yeah. Yeah, I was really surprised by that one too. I mean, that Calgary is kind of going through a little bit of a rebuild, and you think they could really use a guy like Eric Turner in their lineup?
I think so. Now, here's another interesting one, guys, is that Ottawa released Colin Sharkey from their active roster, and the very next day, Rochester signed Colin Sharkey to a 1-year agreement. Kind of wish Eric Turner had that same luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, here's the other interesting one. Is Las Vegas signed Charlie Bertrand to a 1-year agreement, and then lo and behold, Charlie Bertrand goes and retires on him. Head scratcher? Mike?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think he's still pretty young. The only thing I can think of is, maybe he can't commit to both box and field and would rather concentrate on PLL.
I just find it odd that just after you sign him to a 1-year agreement, then he up and retires on you.
Yeah. I mean,
why sign?
We don't know the details. Maybe he just figured, hey, I'm going to retire with the last team I was with. So yeah, makes a little team history. First Desert Dog to retire.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
There are some that have been in a forced retirement, but they've been released and haven't been hurt from since. But hey, Colorado placed AJ Mercurio on the injured reserve from the active roster. San Diego signed Colton Lidstone and Parker Pfeiffer to 1-year agreements. Now, both had great summers, both had great years last year, and both I doubt will see much playing time on that team. I just don't know where they would be put.
Yeah. I mean, with both of them being righties, I mean, they already have Wes Burg, they have Rob Hellier, they have Ben McIntosh, they have Trey LeClaire. So right away,
there's no spot for him. Yeah.
Where are you going to put him?
Yeah.
In the press box.
It's tough. I mean, I get the sense that we're going to see, a number of signings like this, whether it's, guys who just weren't signed or guys who were just released. And I think it's just going to be, hey, we got a scrimmage. We need some bodies,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good news for Colorado is they placed Connor Robinson and Dylan Ward on the active roster again from the injury reserve. Remember, we were humming and hawing about that last week when we saw them going on there and thinking, "Ooh, that's not a good thing," because I don't think that of all the teams, I think Colorado is the most shallow at goaltending. After Dylan Ward, it gets shallower.
Yeah.
We'll get into Mike Sheet in a few minutes and have a look at some of these squads and how many quality players there are going into training camp and through the preseason. Halifax signed Ethan Imlot to a 1-year agreement. Toronto released Eric Lemire from the active roster. Now, Shawn, Saskatchewan was busy today.
Yeah.
And a couple of names that just absolutely, I sit there and I
surprising.
Scratch my head.
A bit surprising, yeah. So they released 8 players. So a ton of players. I guess start with the kind of the ones we expected. Scott Reed, Reese Barnes, Garrett Brockmeyer, kind of a local kid. Maybe they'd hope to stick around, but he got released. Zach Thompson, Kuris Butka, and Caleb Creaser, as we were talking before. The head scratchers. Maybe we'll start with Jeremy Cyril. Had been on the roster for a few years. I think the roster really kind of looking to see him take a next step and be kind of a full-time starter. They must feel that it just didn't go that way. He just kind of couldn't take that next step. And so he has been released. But the real head scratcher for me, and I think for a lot of us, is they released Lane Rishka.
That was the future.
That was the future. The thing is, now when they drafted Thomas Kostiuk, I know they were really high on Kostiuk, and I know Gary, you probably can attest on how good he is in his junior career.
Yeah.
It was going to be a battle between Rishka and Kostiuk for that second spot. I kind of figured that. I figured maybe one of those guys get moved into the practice roster. So to see a goaltender, especially being Rishka, the hometown kid, being released this early, quite surprising to me. I thought that they would at least let him battle through training camp and kind of make a last-minute decision on that.
Yeah, well, they beat the Christmas rush, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So I kind of got a hint that Caleb Creaser was going to be released when he was part of the ALL draft, but wow, yeah, a couple of really big head scratchers. Mike, as I seen, I put up your sheet there, and well, let's look again. A team like Albany. This is just the forwards and goalies on this page, but you take a look at the how deep they are, and this is frightening.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, you can't not see, for the right side, Simmons, Kurtz, and Longbow are probably locks. Piatelli is probably going to be fighting with Jake Cates and JP Ward, who's a high draft pick, for that fourth spot. And then that left side, my goodness, and
yeah,
all the power in the world to Coach Glenn Clark if he can find a way to keep all five guys. So somehow,
that's something. What a problem to have.
I mean, we saw some teams last year. I think Vancouver was one of them. Went with 9 or 10 forwards for a good chunk of the year. So, I mean, I don't think it's out of the question.
Right.
And if you just decide. If you decide to go with 9 forwards, I mean, what's to say you don't make your 2 scratches every game forwards?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then you're running your usual 7, and everyone else is active.
It's frightening, though.
So I mean, it's a possibility. It's something we've seen some teams do.
But you take a look at the defensive thing for Albany.
Yeah, and I mean,
where you cut down on that? Yeah.
Where do you make your? You look at. Tell me again how we're not
yeah
doing expansion soon. Just look across the list here. Like all of these lists go to the bottom of the sheet here. Like this is insane. You take a look. Just to get off the topic a bit, take a look at Georgia and their defensive crew. Where do you make the cuts?
Yeah, I mean that's crazy because
Halifax is in rebuild, and take a look at their list there.
Yeah, Georgia. I mean,
Yeah.
if just taking names that aren't maybe so household because either they just signed as free agents or they were just drafted. So even if you remove, let's say, Grant Breo, Dawson Brown, Liam McGrath, you're still looking at, all of those other guys, have multiple years of NLL experience, but you've already got 13 guys. You know, add 2 goalies, that's 15. Now, what are you going to do? You're only going to run 6 forwards. But again, you could almost make the argument in the other direction with forwards that, well, you know, if you want to concentrate on defense, maybe only run 6 forwards a game. I mean, I'll go back to was it game 1? I believe it was game 1, 2019 finals,
Right.
Calgary and Buffalo. And if I remember correctly, Calgary ran 5 forwards for the game.
Yeah.
They ran Dixon, Doby, Jesse King, Reese Dutch, and someone else on the left side. It might have been Dan Taylor. And they ran those 5 guys for the entire game, and they supplemented the offense basically with a few shifts out the front door for guys like Zach Currier and Shane Simpson. And they won that game, running 5 forwards the entire game.
Right.
I was going to say, just to add to that, like looking at Saskatchewan, and we've heard it from the coaches talking about training camp, is you're likely might see a guy like Levi Anderson playing with the back door for a bit as well, knowing that he can play some defense. Even some guys like, you know, Mike Messenger on defense, or even, you know, even a Boudreau or a kid who can play some offense, could be playing out the front door instead of the back door, or just playing both 2 ways.
Right.
Yeah,
you take consideration in the roster too, right? Like,
yeah, that's a good point, and you know, we saw it with was it Vegas last year, or we were hearing in the off season that maybe Vegas is going to play guys a lot more 2-way style, and I mean, you know, just thinking about some of the legends we've been talking to over the past few weeks, Neil Doddridge and Rich and Darius Kilgore, and them talking about, you know, the old mill days where
talk about how they kind of missed the 2-way days, right?
Yeah, where
the game was
they were playing lines and everyone on the line could play both ways.
Yeah, the game was the fastest game on 2 feet for that reason.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, having a team play fewer forwards might start signaling a shift toward that style again.
Right.
Or sending some of their forwards out the back door. I mean, just looking right there at Toronto Rock.
Yeah.
You know, those are the forwards. We're not seeing Challen Rogers there.
Yeah, I was going to say Challen Rogers is a great example.
Do they plan to play Challen Rogers out the front door, or are they going to play him out out both doors, or just the back door?
Well, you take a look at their defense.
Yeah, and the Powell.
Yeah, they can do
unbelievable.
Yeah, they can just about do whatever they want. So
it's amazing, isn't it? You take a look at that list.
Yeah, I mean, there are going to be some guys on that list. I think you're going to see. I wouldn't be surprised if you see a couple of veterans get released.
Very possible.
Yeah,
very possible. Rochester's another one.
There are definitely with this whole Panther City, you know, with the team folding, we're going to see some guys out on the street, you know, Thanksgiving weekend, who you would not have expected to be a free agent.
I think we're going to be doing that with a lot. You're going to be sitting there just shaking. Our heads will look like they're loose because you're going to be shaking your head continuously at, you know, the news in the next, probably not next week, but the week after. And just unbelievable. Like I say, you take a look at Rochester and just the defensive thing there alone. And I look at all that and go, wow.
Yeah.
And, you know, half of those guys are going to be gone.
Yep.
But where? You know, and again, we'll put up to the forwards there for Rochester. And there you go. And again, if you keep 4 and 4, who's going?
Yeah, I mean, look at that right side. Oof.
Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah, and another one, look at the left side for San Diego. I mean, look how many guys and Cole Pickup I have shaded because he's on the pup list, so I don't know if that's something where he's going to get taken off, before the start of the
Well, like
season.
Shawn said the other day too, right? It's you're going to see the most creative of creative ways that these teams are going to try and keep their players.
Keep guys, yeah.
Yeah, it's throwing guys on all sorts of lists.
On the holdout lists, on the physically unable to perform lists, they're going to be all over the place to try and keep hold.
Guys are hanging out. He's going to be on the injured list.
We were talking about Philadelphia.
And if I can point out just a couple more things, that left side on San Diego, obviously we don't see Austin Stott's name there because the expectations that he's going to be suspended. You also don't see Mac O'Keefe's name there. And now I want you to look at the left-hand side for the Buffalo Bandits and tell me that they might not angle for a trade for Mac O'Keefe if he needs to come back east.
Yeah.
Or
that's a good point.
Or because they made the trade for Tony to try and bolster up the left side because they had nobody.
And if another possibility, if you want to scroll over to Vancouver's lefties,
sure.
Take a look at that competition, and at least one of those guys is probably not going to make the team, possibly two.
Right.
Yeah. Actually, I want to go back to Georgia because I just put out my outlook on them, and we were talking kind of when I was putting on the outlook. They pretty much have 100% retention from last year. They lost no key pieces. When has that happened?
Right. And Caleb Benedict is healthy because he was hurt last year. So he's actually going to get a chance to play, which is one thing. Miles Thompson, I'm still not convinced. I'm still not convinced from what I saw last year of him working and trying to get the knee going again. But if by some way he did, that puts another wrench into it of where do you cut?
Yeah, especially with the defense that they have.
Oh, yeah. That's a whole other animal there too.
Yeah, like where do you cut off that?
Well, there's nowhere that you are weak in there. Like at all.
Oh, and again, because they had all that retention, a lot of these guys, they already have the chemistry. They played with each other already. It's all built in. Save for maybe one or two guys.
Even Ottawa, you look at them and that defensive crew there, that's astounding.
Yeah, and I mean, they lost Zach Deacon, who was a top draft pick, but they have Callum Jones, who's healthy. They added Luke Magnan and Justin Robinson, who hopefully will stay healthy as well. So, it's going to be tough for some of these younger guys and some of these draft picks to crack.
Yeah. I was also looking at Saskatchewan's defense as well, and I mean, where do you cut down? They already cut down a few guys already off that list, but
the Ottawa
kid the third Andrew, both messengers, McCall and Boudreau, Jay Garland, Boudreau, Smith, Bell, Hossack,
Bobby Kidd. So
yeah.
But like I say, we were talking about Ottawa before about support for Jeff Teat. Well, I think he did that, and then some.
Yeah,
that's a pretty astounding lineup now.
Especially having like Matisse, Dunbar, Courier kind of on the right side to complement the left. And Taggart Clark. For that matter,
I think they're expecting big things out of Taggart Clark. I think they expect Kiernan to be. I mean, they signed him to a 5-year deal a couple of years ago, so they expect him to be kind of a cornerstone.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
But again, you're looking at these teams that have 35 guys, and 32 of them are NLL stars. Again, if you look at my argument,
it gets crazy. It gets crazy. I mean, now you're talking about cutting 7-8 guys that you
should be playing in the NLL.
Absolutely love to keep, and just
this would be the first time in history where if you were to put an expansion team in, they might be stronger than half the teams in there. Just by mopping up the guys that are around.
Mopping up the guys that got cut.
Amazing.
Like the only weaknesses you might have in the cuts is goaltending.
Even there, you take a look at every team. Look at the goalie. Look at the goalies. Calgary is a little bit iffy. And again, Colorado's not deep.
Yeah, like Calgary to me, like Cam McLeod, I want to see more out of him than what we've seen.
But again, when
limited action we've seen him in was good, but
when Deep Pryor is your backup, that's
yeah.
But when you take a look at Vancouver, Aaron Bold, I don't think we're going to see back.
No.
So Aiden Walsh is your starter. Connor O'Toole is your backup. Humphrey most likely will be on the practice squad.
And don't sleep on Humphrey because he had an outstanding summer. WLA.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And if you're Calgary, do you take out a flyer on Aaron Bold?
I don't see why not.
He lives in the Edmonton area.
At least gives you that experienced backup. Kind of do what he did with Walsh for McLeod, just a mentor.
Yeah. Yep.
But you take a look even in Halifax. Hill, Hutchison, Gowa, who had a great summer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gowa looked fantastic for Team USA. If he never makes another save, he's Stone Lyle Thompson with seconds left to have US go to the finals.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, and I'll point out the Las Vegas list. I don't have Justin Getty on there because he's also, I think, on the PUP list. So could be just temporary.
Mm-hmm.
But that's another guy, if he's injured but not really injured, and if for some reason he ends up getting released, there's another goaltender with NLL experience that any other team might want to have.
Right. Now I look at Rochester, and it hinges on Hartley being healthy.
Yep.
Because honestly, do I see Kevin Orleman unseating Riley Hutchcraft as a backup? No. But due to an injury or something like that, then all of a sudden it becomes important. So I think that he sticks around on a practice squad.
I kind of feel the same thing about San Diego a little bit too. I mean, you got Chris O'Reguilari, great, outstanding player, but after that, you've got Mike Cohen, who was great. Yeah, he was great 10 years ago. And after that, Redlick, who likely a practice roster guy.
Yep. Interesting. Well, we will keep that sheet, and of course, Mike will update it week in, week out until we get to our regular lineups that are in, and then we'll discuss that. But absolutely, that's unbelievable. Like I knew it was going to be long lists of really bona fide players, but when you see it like that, and you see the amount of players that are absolutely bona fide NLLers, it blows my mind that the league isn't looking at where to go.
I was about to say, just with the cuts the Rush made today, it's already started.
Pat, good to have you with us, man. Can't wait to get you back in with the Wings now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not sure why Facebook isn't giving me names today. One of those things.
Yeah.
Oh, well. I just want to remind everybody that we are on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, we are on Thread. And please check us out a few times a day, as well as on www.streampunkentertainment.com/category/lacrosse for everything up to date and up to the minute. We take great pride in being able to give you all the information up to the minute as quickly as we can, as accurately as we can. So please, our Facebook page is our main flyer for when things go up quickly, and as well as Instagram, as well as, of course, the website. So please give a look to all that. There will be 2 more retro games going up this coming week. So it will be a big week for us, as well as all the Native American stuff going up every day. So please have a look at that. They are all as good or even better than the clip that we showed earlier in the program. Really, really great stuff. Really, really educational. Totally worth a couple of minutes. There's a couple of articles also from USA Lacrosse and from Native stuff as well. There we go. Pat's. Denver got a whole lot stronger.
Oh, yeah.
A whole lot stronger.
They did. Yeah, it's an interesting trade. You know, someone's gonna have to move to midfield from that Denver attack. But you know, I mean, the Cannons get more draft picks, and you know, I mean, the Cannons still have plenty of firepower with Marcus Holman, Asher Nolting, Ryan Drenner, and the like, Matt Campbell.
Cannons are still good.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe Lyle will come back and play for them next summer. So,
yeah,
maybe they're making room, and we just haven't heard anything yet. So, though I'm sure Lyle will probably also want to go for a 3-peat himself.
That'll be interesting. Also, so curious to see what what the Chiefs will be doing with that as well. But I want to thank everybody for being with us week in and week out. It is our privilege to do this. We love it, and got so much good feedback from so many of you that we really appreciate it. It makes our day. So we appreciate everything. We're into last words. Shawn, last words to you.
You know, more of what we're talking about. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes down the line as these rosters start to shape up and kind of who's in. And as I said, there's probably going to be a lot of surprises on who's out.
Absolutely. Mike, last words to you.
Yeah, we're like Shawn said, we're going to have some some interesting names and some interesting ways that coaches and GMs are going to try to keep the best teams they can together.
Right. I want to remind everybody next week, though, it is Grey Cup, the Super Bowl of CFL of Canadian football. So we will be on at 11 o'clock in the morning because my hometown team is in the Grey Cup without a starting quarterback.
We won't talk about what happens in Saskatchewan in the West Final.
Maybe I can get Matt. But yeah, so it'll be tomorrow. Next week at 11 a.m. will be our show. So have a look at that, please. We will have stuff up during the week to remind everybody. But absolutely. And it's going to be interesting to watch the cuts. I totally intend on being at the Saskatchewan-Toronto preseason game next Saturday. I know Saskatchewan has a game on Friday as well over at ILA. And so hopefully they're good and tired for that one. And maybe Toronto will put in one of their veterans in this one. You know, we'll have maybe a Mark Matthews sighting or something like that. Corey Small sighting. We'll see. For at least a quarter. Because there's enough guys there they can play by the quarter now, can't they?
Pretty much.
It just astounds me. It astounds me. Oh, Pat.
Here we go. Yeah.
Oh boy.
I shouldn't tell Pat that Zach watches the show.
Mark the date that Ottawa and Philly play. When Higgins sets a career high in saves and
shuts out Philadelphia.
Shuts out Philadelphia, yeah.
Whatever.
Pat's crying in his beer.
Yeah. He'll be over at the buffet. Yeah, somebody else tell him. He'd be coming in fork and knife in hand.
Stress eating, yeah.
Also, tomorrow is Remembrance Day, so please, at 11 o'clock, please give a moment of silence, remembering all the people who fought that we can do what we want now. It's our freedom. And if you happen to see a veteran, please thank them, because they put their lives on the line so we can enjoy all the lavish things that we get. So, on that note, until next week, for Shawn Slaght over in Moose Jaw and Muffler Mike Kostiuk over in Connecticut, I'm Gary Groob in Toronto, wishing you the best of weeks. And remember, keep your stick in your hand. And until next week, have a great week. See you then.